Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Braveheart Friday. Now, last week we talked about the top challenge that family business owners faced, which was family. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. This week we're talking about their number 2 challenge, which is cash flow. So why is cash flow so important to business owners?
Well, cash flow for business owners is many times everything, because without a good, consistent cash flow, it's hard to service, it's hard to grow. You just kind of need that, and it's also a protective device for you because if things go bad. As an example, one of the risks here to cash flow, frankly, is that recession comes, business slows down, and if you are running sort of thin on cash flow, then businesses can go down quickly if cash flow dries up. So protecting that as well as the profit margin are both important.
Yeah, I think there's a catch-22, right? You don't want to have too much cash because then you're not investing it into your business.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to be too thin on cash. So how can business owners really find that in between of too thin or too much?
Well, I think understanding that what it takes for them to have available funds to operate the business on an annual kind of basis, and to get a good sense of what the amount of cash is necessary. And then on top of that, I like to see a 10 to 20% set aside in case things begin to dip down, and they have some time then to adjust some things to minimize the risk to cash flow.
Like an emergency fund.
Correct.
I think also we talk about the market cycles, understanding where we are in the market.
Right. One of the things about the cash flow here is the idea that understanding that there are roughly 7-year business cycles in this country, and I would say in this one, you should know that we are getting long in the tooth on this expansion. So this is a time when I would begin to raise cash to the extent possible. It doesn't mean I wouldn't continue to try to grow, but it does mean I would hedge that growth by raising cash.
Gotcha.
The second thing I talk about with regard to cash flow has to do with this whole idea of too fast of an expansion.
Right.
Because if you do too fast of an expansion without appropriate infrastructure, then you can destroy your reputation in the market because your quality is dropping, your ability to service timely, all that stuff starts to fall apart. So you want to protect your reputation, and also if you do too fast expansion, you tie up too much cash, so two things are going on at the same time. You're losing control of your cash, and then you're also losing control of the business on the management side.
Right. You have too much in receivables, and then you have a cash crunch because you've taken on too much work without enough cash.
Right, and you don't have the infrastructure of people to manage all the down people. So it's a big deal. I guess the third thing I would say about cash flow risk is to understand that ultimately the bank itself is not your buddy.
Yeah.
We know that the people that we do business with on a local level, we golf with, and they're friends, and we do social things and all that together. But you have to know that if your company gets in trouble and you become what they call a troubled asset, you start missing payments and all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, the local banker is not your contact anymore. They kick you up to the troubled assets division back at corporate, and all of a sudden you're dealing with people that you don't know.
Right.
And at that level, banks are sharks. And that is, they are going to minimize their risk, and they're going to take advantage of economic situations that they can make money on at your expense.
Right.
So bankers, whenever you don't need money, they're willing to throw it at you, and when you do need it, corporate's taking it from you.
Right.
So you just have to be careful to understand who's who.
Right. Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys learned a lot from this talk about cash flow, and if you want to know about the other top 3 challenges, there's a link in the post that you should be able to click that and download the rest of the challenges. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.